Hey everyone, we are continuing our study in James, and today we're looking at James chapter 4, verse 13 through 17. So let's take a moment to read those right now. And James says, "Look here, you who say, 'Today or tomorrow we are going to a certain town and will stay there a year. We will do business there and make a profit.' How do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while, and then it's gone. What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that. Otherwise, you are boasting about your own pretentious plans, and all such boasting is evil. Remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it." I love the way this passage ends. James basically ends it with a threat. He says, if you know what you ought to do and you don't do it, that is sin. And so the question is what is James telling us that we ought to do? Now, I want you to imagine a person with a map, and they are standing over this map, and they are saying, I'm going to go here, I'm going to trade this product, and I'm going to make this profit. Now, there's nothing wrong with making a plan or even making a profit, but what is wrong is making that plan and wanting that profit apart from God. James says we actually need to go at it this way. We need to say, if the Lord wants us to. All he wants us to remember is that as we plan and as we make strategic moves in our lives, we need to appeal to God, because man may propose, but God controls. This is the first thing we ought to do, and if we don't do it, then we are falling into sin. The second thing we ought to do is that we need to remember that we are limited. James reminds us that our life is like a morning fog. It's here a little while and then gone. But what he wants us to understand is that God is limitless. He is everlasting. And so when it comes to our lives, the limited should appeal to the limitless. The finite should appeal to the infinite. And so knowing that we are finite should motivate us to want to appeal and give our lives to that which is infinite. That's the second thing we ought to do. And let me tell you, when we fail to do these things, we will fall into arrogant boasting. Boasting over that which we have no control over. And this boasting, James tells us in this passage, is evil. Because when we do this, we begin to boast in our own self-confidence and in our own self-sufficiency, when we should be boasting in the sufficiency and the confidence of God. And so, we've been warned. You and me, we've been warned. The truth has been placed before us. And so the question is are we going to do what we ought to do? Or are we going to fall into sin by not doing it? And how great is this passage in the time that we're going through now? Because I bet you a lot of our plans have been changed. There is no better time to take heed James's words than today. And so take a moment to go through the reflection questions that are in this post, and I hope you have a wonderful day.